Governor Christie is on a mission to lure businesses away from states like Illinois and to set up camp right here in New Jersey. And he's using his pledge of no new tax increases to sell them on the deal. So what could it all mean for the Garden State? Kathleen Trigg explains.
MZM construction owner Marjorie Perry admits times are hard.
This was one of the buildings that we were partnered on, and we worked here.
She started her company 20 years ago, has a staff of 15, and wants it to grow, but getting federal funding is tough, so she hopes the state can help.
The state doesn't have the money to grow business. What they do have is a lot of incentive packages to grow business.
And that's why Perry came here today, a small business owner among a panel of nearly 24, mostly Fortune 500 business leaders. Governor Christie brought them together on the campus of Rutgers to talk business, how to create jobs in the state and make New Jersey attractive to outsiders.
Relocation experts have told us that they will not look at New Jersey. It's not even on their list.
Fox News Channel's Neil Cavuto was the moderator. There was a lot of talk about tax reform and creating jobs that will bring in revenue.
It's not only what the corporations will pay in taxes, it's what their employees will pay in taxes as well.
I always think it's good left or right, Republican or Democrat. You got to meet with business leaders. They're the folks who are hiring.
Don't let Illinois balance its budget on the back of your business.
The governor sprayed the radio airwaves with this ad trying to lure Illinois business leaders to the Garden State.
Both New Jersey and Illinois are both providing business leaders with certainty. In New Jersey, you can be certain that taxes are going down over the next 3 years. In Illinois, you can be certain that they're going up.
For Marjorie, she sees it as a glimmer of hope.
This was a start, absolutely. Absolutely. I'm at the table, so at least there's hearing my voice a little bit.
In Newark, Kathleen Trigg, My 9 News.
Joining me now for more, Deborah Howlett, who is president of New Jersey Policy Perspective, and Diane Walsh, who is vice president of Government Affairs and Communications for the Commerce and Industry Association of New Jersey. Welcome to the show, ladies.
Thanks. Nice to be here.
First of all, what are your thoughts on Governor Christie going to a state like Illinois and trying to lure business leaders there to come to New Jersey?
Well, you got to love the man for doing it, right? I mean, he sees an opportunity like any smart businessman, and he seizes it. Illinois' taxes are going up, so it's an opportunity for us to go in there and maybe bring a little bit here.
What do you think?
Well, I think it's more show than it is substance. I think if there are businesses in Illinois that would consider relocating to New Jersey, whether the governor goes out there and makes a pitch or puts a few radio ads up is not going to make a big difference. I think the focus on the governor attracting new businesses, whether it's from Illinois or New York or Pennsylvania or any place else, has been his outright effort in his first year to strip the corporate taxes and provide hundreds of millions of dollars incentives to those businesses, all the while that he's cutting social safety net and education.
Is it a real diss to Illinois' Governor Pat Quinn?
Well, sure, but they're not from the same party, so I think that makes it more enjoyable for Christie.
On the other hand, is the governor simply stirring up competition, do you think? And you think that's good for all states?
I think that the governor's initiatives when he took office have always been focusing on the business because, I mean, bringing revenue to this state, it makes for a healthy economy. It's a benefit for all of us, and therefore we can all enjoy it. So it just makes sense. It's one of his priorities, and it's a priority that we applaud.
But look, businesses don't relocate. They don't make decisions based on where they're going to base their headquarters because of taxes. Are raised, it's a factor, but it's a small factor. They're more interested in the workforce and the quality of education in the state, the proximity to ports and shipping, to financial markets, depending on what businesses they're in. And a lot of times, the location of a headquarters for a corporation depends mainly on where the CEO wants to live.
Do you think taxes is a small part of that, a business making a decision about where they're going to locate?
I think taxes is one of the components, of course, and I think business climate is another one, and I think our governor has made some great improvements in our business climate. I mean, we were 50, now we're 48. We're climbing out of that basement, that's for sure. And I mean, the latest figures from the Economic Development Authority show that business is relocating here. We have figures that show that there have been 20 companies that have come to this state since Christie took office. That's a big plus.
20 companies in a year is marginal. And the business rating, the business climate rating, was done by a conservative anti-tax group called the Tax Foundation that based almost all of weighted everything on taxes. And there's some fundamental assumptions in there about those taxes. What really draws business, what really attracts business, is not a lower tax rate. alone. It's keeping a good quality of education, having a ready pool of labor,
but don't
and
we also still need jobs?
Employees.
Jobs. What about jobs? That was a big issue nationally, and it's still an issue for the government.
Sure, but this isn't creating jobs. Don't make no mistake. These businesses are sitting on huge piles of capital. The market is up. They're giving their CEOs bonuses. The banks have money. This isn't about there's a lack of funds for businesses to hire people. This is about businesses getting to the point where they're comfortable with the economy and that the economy is improving so that they spend those cash reserves. That's what's more important.
So when do we start holding businesses accountable for hiring people?
I think that it would be rather odd to think that business does not bring jobs. I mean, that is the foundation of where jobs come from. You cannot have a job without having some employer. So therefore, you know, I mean, if you look at the latest figures, it shows that the EDA shows that the relocations have resulted in over 3,000 new jobs in this state. The latest numbers from the Labor Department show the same thing. We are building jobs. We are bringing
3,000 jobs in the first year of the Christie administration. Let's compare that. Before the recession, we were talking about 100,000 jobs a year that were created. With this, and the problem has been the recession. The problem is not that there's a bad business climate in New Jersey or that taxes are too high. The problem has been the recession. And what's needed is to deal with those issues. And once those issues are resolved, those jobs will be created. But in the earlier segment, on the ARC Tunnel, there were 6,000 jobs that project created. And if you kill that project, there go those 6,000 construction jobs. That doesn't even count the jobs that are opened up by the extra transit into New York City on Wall Street and other places.
What about the way businesses are supposed to be lured to by other incentives, even when it comes to roads, transportation, those sorts of things? When we look at how bad just simple things like the streets are right now, when we talk about municipalities that say they can't even afford to fix the streets, are things that somehow seem simple for local governments. Are those the kinds of things that are going to be too complex and are going to keep businesses away, do you think?
I think our governor is attacking the issue of business in many different fronts. Look at the red tape review. We're trying to remove the obstacles that prevent business from coming here, the problems, the obstacles that they see. Look at the Business Action Center. It's a one-stop shop for business to go to get their financing, to help them navigate through the bureaucracy, the regulations.
Lots of ways to get business
and I think our governor is touching all the ways. This roundtable that he had.
And he's giving away hundreds of $millions in tax incentives while at the same time he's cutting public education. And I would argue that's self-defeating, because what really draws business is a solid education, and lessening the quality of education in New Jersey isn't going to create any more jobs.
Thank you, ladies. If you have ideas about topics you'd like to see discussed, log on to my9tv.com and click on Public Affairs. We want to hear from you. That's all for today's show. Thank you so much for joining us. For My 9, I'm Brenda Blackmon, and we'll see you next week on New Jersey Now.